Okay, thank you very much for having me here today. My name is Eliad. I'm a senior developer at Gingee. And today I'm going to talk about converting a web game to mobile. Lots of us have their favorite web game. I personally have two games that I love to play that I wish I could play on my own device, on my mobile device. And it's not something impossible. It's something you can do. It's not easy, but it's doable. And I want to show you a showcase of a game I was working on and how we did it. I'm going to show you the problems we had along the process and, of course, the solution we found. I want you to listen to the solutions and make sure you can then use them yourself to solve any difficulty. Okay, the game today I'm going to show you is Big to Bonanza. Big to Bonanza is a social card game created for Facebook. One of our customers reached us and asked us to convert the game to mobile. The game was developed and designed for Facebook. There was no pre-consideration of mobile aspects and no framework for mobile. The game was solely made for Facebook. I want you to see the game screens. As you can see, the game is very loaded with graphics. There are lots of buttons, lots of effects that you can't see right now. And the screens are very loaded. The main screen, the gameplay, some of the buttons are very small. Some of the text is very small. It won't fit a mobile device. And it would look very bad on a mobile device. It actually won't work on a mobile device. I want to start with the main problem, resolution. Scaling, resizing, and cropping the game won't work. If you try to resize it, you may get black margins, you may get the game stretched, object distortion, and maybe lose some information. So we did try. We did try it. It wasn't working, and everything we did was a bad solution, and we had to find another solution. How would you solve it? Anyone here ever tried to convert a game from web to mobile? Okay, I want to talk about three major points we had in the process. First of all, independent assets of screen size resolution. We need to take care of each asset independently. Take care of its resolution, its graphics, its location on the screen, its relation with other assets. Once you take care of each asset independently, you make it look good, you make sure it would look on the right spot, and this will make you go on. How we did it is using anchors. Anchors is widely used among other places. It's working, it's good, it's easy. Once you place an object on the top left of the screen, it will remain on the top left of the screen, regardless of the asset size, regardless of its the screen size, the screen resolution, the aspect ratio. It will be left on the top left screen, and then you can put other assets in proportion and in relation to that asset. Another thing I want to talk about is text. Text gives us a lot of problems. I had lots of solutions. We tried to handle the text, but in order to keep the text in proportion, to keep it readable, we had to create a special module. The module would take the text from an XML file and would do all we wanted to do, the effects, everything else. We actually even started using embedded fonts, and we had to add a little magic later. I will talk about it later again. Performances. As I was talking about text and vector graphics cause the re-rendering of each frame. It's very heavy on the mobile process, on the mobile operation system. The game may get stuck, the game may not work at all, This game, when we first tried to load it on a mobile device, it wouldn't load it. So we had to find a solution. The solution, both for the vector graphics and the text, was actually rasterization. We rasterize the visual content. We take all the display object and actually convert them to bitmaps. We use the visual assets such as vector graphics and text. We create them, we work on them, we do all the effects we want, but then right at the end, we convert them to bitmaps and use the bitmaps instead. It gives you lots of space. The processor, can work very easily with that, and it's worked much better. Another useful way is bleating. Bleating is actually replacing some part of the image instead of the whole image. Let's say you want to draw a man, and you want the man to be smiling. So instead of redrawing the whole man again, all you need is to redraw his face. So this way, you can make it much easier on the processor of the device. Input and output. This is a very important issue, especially for the players. You must understand, you are on a mobile device now. You don't have a keyboard, you don't have a mouse. You need bigger buttons now. You have less space on the screen. We actually had to work together with the game designer and the customer itself to make sure that we change the right things, the right place. Together with the game designer, we created the bigger buttons. We had to remove some of the buttons to make a lot of space for the player to enjoy the game much better. Other issue, there are no mouse over related events on a mobile device. You don't have tooltips. You don't have visual effects that are usually working. This was actually made my life a little bit easier. I just removed the effects. But on the other hand, we had to find a solution for the tooltips. In our case, in this game, we use the tutorial. On each screen, on the first time, you get a small tutorial to explain you on each button what it does, instead of the tooltips we had. Keyboard. The mobile keyboard may take half or maybe all of the screen. Let's say your game have a chat. The player will want to chat with other players. Once he will tap the text line, the keyboard will pop up. It will hide the whole chat. You must take this in consideration. What we did in this case was to leave one line of chat that will refresh with each message. This way the player can write what he wants and still see the messages, at least the last one. Of course, back button. All the mobile devices has back button, has menu button. It's very important. The players expect you to use the back button. They want to use them. Maybe to go back for another screen, maybe to get out of the game. You must have support for this. This is again something we had to do it along with the customer. We decided on each screen what the back button will do. Will it take you out to the main menu? Will you leave the game? Everything together with the customer, and we found the solutions. Let's talk about social. Big 2 Bonanza was a Facebook game. It was running on Facebook. When you started the game, you were already logged into Facebook. Now you're not. On a mobile device, you're not logged into Facebook. You must recreate the whole login process. So we created a module special for that. The module would log you into Facebook, collect all the data the game needs, and then start the game. Some social interaction will be missing. Let's say that, for example, you can't ask a player to like your page or your game from a mobile Facebook API. So if you were using it in your web game, you must find another solution, another task to create for the user, for the player, in order to continue with the workflow. Another issue was the redirection. Let's say one player invited another player to play with him on the game. the other player, may be using another device, an iOS instead of Android. In this case, we had to use the server side to find the solution. We actually used a link that would take you to the server, and then the server would redirect you to the correct store for download. Payment is another issue on social, and I'll be talking about it right now, along with monetization. So we are on mobile device. Google and Apple really want you to use their in-apps and payment system. They won't let you use Facebook coins, so we had to convert it. What we did was actually created a special module for that as well, lots of modules. This module would find on which device the game is running right now, init the correct store at the start of the game, and then we'll open the appropriate in-app purchase. Ads. The game was running on Facebook and had two banners running above the game and below the game within the HTML. Now we are on a mobile system. We don't have any HTML around us, so we had to find a solution. One solution was to put the ads between screens. Sometimes we could put them below a certain menu. This is something always that you have to solve along with the customer as well, of course. So we sit down with the customer, decided which ads to put where. Of course, we created another module for that as well, and now we can integrate ads much more easier. Analytics. On this part, we actually had not too much problems. Most of the analytics remained the same, but we did had to add some more information, such as the device type the player is running on, maybe other related information to mobile. Most of it worked perfectly, but we had to take on consideration that we are running on cross-platform, and we make sure that everything works on each system correctly. Other problems we had. You must understand that the player now is running on a mobile device and is probably using his 3G, and you don't want to use too much of his bandwidth. So there is no downloadable assets available for you when you take it in consideration. You have to add all the assets to the game package, to the download package of the installation of the game. This way, the players will use the game and enjoy it much more. Another thing was that there was no flash bars and no external interface on mobile. You are not running in a browser anymore. You're running in another system. If you used to take flash bars from the browser and interact with him with the external interface, now you have to find another way. Our solution in this case was again using the server. We did the server call at the start of the game, got the info we needed from the server instead of the browser, and continue on the game loading from there. Another issue we encountered was the device activation and deactivation of the app. Let's say your player is playing your game and he gets a phone call. Probably he will answer the phone. I hope he won't. But he will answer the phone. You must decide what you're going to do. You want to pause the game. What are you going to do with the music? We discovered that on some Android devices, the music keeps running even after you push the home button. You see your home screen with the game music on the background. So you must handle the activation and deactivation events to pause the music, to pause the game, decided whether you take him out to the main menu or not, and on activation, return him to the game itself. And we did it. This is the result. As you can see, the game is much more easier, more comfortable to the eye. We have a Nexus S here and an iPad. They're not exactly at the same size that they were meant to be, but you must understand that Nexus S is a much wider screen, so you can see that the top is spread equally on the screen. We use the whole screen, no matter what the aspect ratio is, and the game flow is much more fun for the player and much more enjoyable. I'll try to run the small video to show you the game. Will it work? No, it's not working. Anyway, thank you very much for listening. Thank you much for your time, and try to convert. Good luck. Feel free to ask any question, please. It's important. The video, maybe? Ah, yes. Let's see the video. As you can see, the game is running really smoothly. It's spread all over the screen. The top bar is spread equally, top left, top right, and the other assets inside are staying in the right spot, the right location. Okay. Enough. And thank you very much again. Question, anybody?
I wanted to ask what was the level of compatibility between the Facebook version and the mobile version? Was this just a conversion, a completely different games, or was the player able to share his progress, maybe some earned currency, or two completely different games with the same mechanics and graphics?
It was almost the same. As I said earlier, during this game tutorial you had to like the Facebook page in order to advance, so we had to remove this setup, but most of the Facebook interaction was very equal.
I mean that if I have a profile on Facebook and I played this game on Facebook and I downloaded the application for mobile phone, it was completely I needed to start from the
scratch.
beginning.
No, we are using your Facebook ID, so you can play it on mobile and on the web simultaneously almost. Of course, not at the same time exactly, but one game here, one way game here, and you will advance and enjoy all the progress you had.
I see. Thanks.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask how much did the game logic, the code, was changed?
We actually used the original project. We did had to change some of the...
So the game logic is the same?
Yes. In this game, most of the logic was actually on the server to avoid the cheats and stuff. But what you see on the screen, the logic on the screen, is exactly the same. All we had to replace was the assets and change the menus, and that's all.
Okay. Thanks.
Anyone else? No. Thank you very much.